go?
Yes, I'm going to finish him off.
Well, you might as well forget it, because you're no match for him.
Regardless, I must go. I had a chance to stop him before, but I couldn't. I'm responsible for all this mess.
Responsible? Does it bother you that much?
He's my father. Besides, who else can undo what he's done? A demon like you wouldn't understand.
Father and family, huh? Well, I'll go too. But you better hurry if you don't want me to take all the credit.
Welcome back to part 9 of Devil May Cry 3, where today we're going to have to start chasing Arkham to stop him from getting our father's power. Well, our Dante's father, Sparda. That power. Yeah, I'll go Devil Trigger. I always appreciate more DT. Also, the Mission 14 symbol, it was cracked into the side of the fallen floor when Dante looked over, but right at the end of the cutscene, when Dante looked over and the camera panned over to it, you could see the 14 etched into the wall. But if you go over to where Virgil fell off, Beowulf is now there. The gauntlets he used during the fight against him. That's my favourite weapon in the game. Like, Rebellion I always keep with me as a trusted weapon because I'm confident with it. But Beowulf is my go-to in any time I'm playing Devil May Cry 3 as a fun run, not as a fresh run like this. So I'm going to be equipping Beowulf, and that's my final loadout. I'm not kidding. We've got one more ranged weapon to get, and I'll use it a little bit, obviously, when we get it. But Ebony and Ivory Spiral, Rebellion, Beowulf, that's my setup. That's all I need. Yeah, you got to put a bit of work into Beowulf to get a hang of it, but it's such a fun weapon. It's such an upgrade over Ifrit from the first game, in my opinion. The only thing it doesn't have from Ifrit that I kind of miss is that Ifrit could charge its attacks and do maximum damage, and in this you can kind of charge attacks, but the damage like increase seems to be not that noticeable. But when you charged up attacks in Ifrit, every single impact on that attack, you fucking felt it. You felt like a champion using it. Even if it was limited in combos. You also had that explosion thing that I hope they bring back in 5. I doubt they will, but now they've got a Balrog in 5 where it's like a fist gauntlet or a kick attack, like a kick weapon. When you're in the fist attack, your attacking to the ground should definitely be the explosion from DMC1. Like, come on, guys. So my throat's still a bit rusty. I'm trying my best to get past it, but I'm starting to think that my throat's just destined to never be good. Because it's been like this for a little while now. Alright, these are the versions of this enemy that names always slip my mind. That will actually start freely moving. They will lock on and start moving towards you. When they're moving towards you, they won't attack. They'll just be moving. Just their shields will do extra damage because it's spinning faster. But when they're not moving or just lingering around like this one, you have to try and wait. Because trying to go up over them, they will stab straight up and you won't catch them. It's not like the ones that are in a set movement where they're easy to avoid. The main trick though is look when they're spawning where the shield's facing and face the same side the shield is. Because the shield will always flip round to their front as the fight starts. So when they flip round to their front, you'll flip to, their back. And then it's a free kill because they'll almost never have enough time to get around to you. As you can see, they're very slow turners. And you're also going to notice that the arrangement of the entire tower has changed. Similar to Devil May Cry 1 when you re-entered the castle at night, the tower has now drastically changed its structure and different rooms will lead to different areas. So don't assume that one door will take you to somewhere you're familiar to. It won't. However, they do still try and keep some kind of sense with it, where the upper floors of the tower will still link to each other because they were not affected as much as the lower floors. Which makes sense because the tower started right at the bottom and shifted a lot around, as you saw when we went through it. We now completely don't have access to the original main tower room. In that big open room we started in when we entered the tower. That's not available whatsoever now because the tower's going straight through the middle of it. And they're right there. I went into autopilot then, using it, completely forgetting that I wanted to show it, like show off and explain it. You can cancel jump attacks, as I mentioned before, and as I mentioned, like when I think it was during the Gurren fight, you can, because of this, you can sometimes hit an opponent with a jump attack, wherever it may be, cancel it to immediately do it again, and so you can loop it around and get a maximum damage. Beowulf is like the poster boy of that. The amount of damage you can rack up in insane speeds if you use the jump kick cancel with Beowulf, where as soon as the kick makes contact, tap the jump button. It's a bit annoying to get the, like a bit finicky to get the timing down, but once you've got it, sort of thing. Hang on. Yeah, I want that, thank you. So, I saw the statue and I was like, I've got enough of that. I don't have enough for straight level 2, but I can live without. Also, I probably am not going to bother buying air hike for Beowulf because I can just swap to Rebellion in mid-air and get it. This little area might be a bit awkward the first time you go through it, but there's a set pattern of doors you have to go through. But you have to deliberately go the wrong way one time, which is what this is, because it will open a different door that we can get to later on. Also, in this entire section, all the enemies are different chess pieces. It's not just these guys, there'll be other ones, but they're only chess pieces. Also, we have got Drive. Drive isn't too annoying, but I'm glad how they changed it in 4. And I'm pretty sure they're keeping it that way in 5, but I haven't seen yet to know. In this, Drive is a charge-up attack. You have to hold down Y to build it up. In 4, they make it have 2 different inputs depending on whether you want to do the long, more damaging one or a quick, less damaging one. The quick, less damaging is that you hit the attack and the style button at the same time. So triangle and circle on PlayStation, Y and B on Xbox sort of thing. Whilst you've got Rebellion equipped and Dante will do a quick drive and launch it. Whilst actual proper long drive is a Swordmaster skill. I believe it's backwards circle. It's your level 2, I think. And if you're wondering, well, what happened to the round trip? You know, the attack that got nerfed and became that weird throw the stab attack instead of being the spinning blade. Well, that's been moved to hold down Y in 4, which I think just works as its natural place better, because you hold down Y to let the weapon go to use something else. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Other than it feels more natural for an attack that involves throwing the weapon to be a hold down button to charge it up instead of a certain button tap. Anyways, you go through this room. It's the far room on the... When you stand in the middle, it's the room on the far left. That's the best way to work it. Like, if you stand in the middle and swivel round, it's the room on the far left. But at this point, it's a straight ahead through this door when we get the chance. Let's see if I can do another drive. That's got to miss. I need to move. Also, the battle theme's changed again. We're now in Act 3. Like I said, every Virgil fight starts a new act. We had Virgil fight 2 last time, so we're now in Act 3 of the game, and so the battle theme has changed again. To one that was used in most of the trailers when the game was first coming around. Which is a bit weird that it's the track, like, the latest in the game is the one they use in all the trailers. But after this, there's only one door to go through, so you can just follow it through. There'll be one more encounter here, but as you can see, there's also a blue orb fragment for our trouble, so finding the right way. I don't know if there's a way of actually missing that fragment, like in terms of like getting here and it not being there. Like I can only assume if you go the wrong way so many times it vanishes, sort of thing, but I don't know. I was just kind of under the assumption that was a freebie they wanted to give the player. Oh, that one connected. Alright. Drive actually does quite a bit of a fair amount of damage. Especially if you have to charge it up. Like, There are other weapons that do more damage with it, like just ask Beowulf here. There's a lot you can do, especially if you can get Swordmaster to level 3. Real impact, stuff of legends, that thing. I don't know if it's called Real Impact in this, but but I know it's called Real Impact in 4. But essentially, it's Dante will like swing his fist back and then launch it up as if doing an uppercut, but he will stop on the impact point. If there's not an enemy, nothing happens. If there is an enemy and it connects, he will then take them to the sky with it. And it's not just a matter that you're locked still, so they balance it out by, okay, we're going to make it so it does a lot of damage. It's also the matter of the fact that you can devil trigger it. Like you can there's a little trick that the community called distorting, where on some attacks when they connect, the game kind of stops on that frame for a split second to try and highlight how heavy the impact is. But the game kind of didn't compensate that people would, you know, swap in the devil trigger on that same frame. And if you do it, you'll have the initial hit of you actually, you know, doing it, but you'll also then hit them again, but this time in devil trigger, so you'll get 2 hits for the price of 1. And you can even distort back out of it, because Real Impact has 2 of those impacts where it stops for a frame. So then you can get the devil trigger hit and then go out of devil trigger to distort hit without. So then you can get 2 devil trigger hits and 2 normal hits for the price of 1 Real Impact. And suddenly half their HP's just fucking vanished. Also, if you decide to power on instead of taking the teleport in the previous room, there's this room over here with a vital star in the back. This room's probably the easiest room in the game to get a triple S. I'm not going to get it because this is playing live, because of course I am. But the amount of enemies that are here, like, make the most of it, man. Just wail on them. Fuck. I thought I'd moved out of the way then. On a practice run, I got a triple S easy in this room, but of course, practice versus let's play. But anyway, that was only there for a vital star. Ow. I was hoping to. Ow! Fucking come on! You get hit by 1, you get hit by fucking everything. I couldn't recover from that. I just got bodied repeatedly. And look how much health I lost. Anyway, when you take that teleporter, it weirdly takes you round back to the front. But don't be confused, feel like you fucked up or something like that. Follow it, take it to the front, and go straight back up as if you're going towards the entrance of the tower. Alright, thanks Dante, really appreciate that climb. Just cut all the hard work for us. I got a feeling that at some point they wanted us to do the climb, but they decided to either cut it or whatever. But oddly enough, we used Cerberus to get it, giving Cerberus the rare luxury of being a devil arm that we collect that gets to reappear in a future cutscene. Because every other devil arm that we've collected has only appeared in the cutscene we've got them. Like, we've never seen Ugly and Rudra again, we've never seen Neven again, we've never seen Beowulf, we'll never see Beowulf again. Cerberus is the only exception to that rule. Anyway, this cutscene is kind of just there, like Dante walking towards, highlighting that lady's on her climb. Like, it's just kind of there for the sake of being there. They do this again in a little bit, like and it's just so they can keep up the number Easter egg, because 15 is a piece of shrubbery that's just going to come on the screen right now. You see it? It's right in front of you. It's like right in front of your nose. Right. You might notice a slight cut there. This mission didn't record, so I'm having to do it again. I even saved the game, so I'm having to just do it again. So I'm going to have to highlight where the blue orbs are and just go to them again. I'm also going to highlight where the red orb collections are. But anyway, these angelic bastards here are not angels at all. Because believe it or not, there are no angels in the Devil May Cry universe, at least so far. I'm pretty sure Itsuno said there won't be in 5 either. There's just no angels in the DMC universe. If you want angels, you need to go to Bayonetta. Which, to be fair, that's got me thinking. Like, that'd be cool if Bayonetta got added to the Netflix bootleg anime universe that's going on. Because as of this recording, there's Castlevania anime on Netflix. It's pretty damn good. I've seen some of season 1. I need to rewatch the rest of it, but it's really damn good. And the head director has confirmed that he's expanding it to make it like a bootleg universe of all the things he loves. The next one being Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry and Castlevania are going to be crossing over to continue this bootleg universe he's creating. If Devil May Cry's getting in, then Bayonetta's not out of the question, because they're very brother and sisterly in how they work in terms of franchises. Even if one's directed by Kamir and one was only had the first game directed by Kamir, they're still both in a very similar vein in how they work. Just different protagonists, and one's against angels and the other's against demons. Like, Dante's a not serious character in a serious world, and Bayo's a not serious character in a not serious world. Assuming that, if the only exception being Bayonetta 3 from that initial reveal trailer, if that's anything to tell us. But my dream is still Shin Megami Tensei. The only way... I'll continue that conversation in a sec. When I get up here is a red orb crystal, and it's gone because, you know, this mission didn't fucking save, which is why I've got so high red orbs as well, and why I'll be skipping enemies. There's also a red orb stash if you jump up towards the eye here. It'll just give you red orbs if you jump towards it, but oh well. Anyway, so I'd love to see Shin Megami Tensei show up in it. Also, it just rearranges the tower. Well, not rearranges it, it moves a gate so you can start working on the gimmick in this that I'll talk about in a sec. But Shin Megami Tensei, the one I'd love them to put into it is Nocturne, but the only one that I could see them making sense on how they're doing it is Strange Journey. Because Strange Journey's plot was that a giant vortex appears in the South Pole, and when they send a drone into the vortex, they realise that demonic life has spawned there, so they send an exploration team to explore it. They could make a plotline on that, because it's still a controlled environment that wouldn't, like, wreck on anything from the Castlevania or Devil May Cry side of the universe. It could still be, oh, there's just some weird vortex that showed up in this in the Strange Journey in the South Pole, and then they'd have their way of including Dante and starting the crossover, because Dante would obviously go to a giant vortex appearing in the South Pole that suddenly got housing loads of demons. Like, that's his shit. He'd do that in a heartbeat. Thankfully, there's no secret missions in this mission, so I don't have to do any of them again. Also, because the tower's now active, everything inside the tower is active, including this gear room. And if you go into the side of the gear, it will hurt you. Also, in this room, as I kind of foreshadowed earlier, it's become a lot more dangerous. Each double blade as you go through has slightly harder timing than the last. Because the first one both are slow, the second one slow, one slightly fast, and the other one they flip it round. Hang on, I don't need to get a C. The next one they flip it round. The next one they're both one of them's just faster, while the other one's still the slow speed, and then the last one they're both going super fast. Oh right, yeah. I tried to stinger through the gap and locked onto the fucking enemy off screen. Anyway, we're checking for Orichalcan fragments. We need 3 of them to power the lift that we was in previously, so then we can get up to the next floor to continue our journey. And that's the entire premise of this mission, is just collecting those 3 fragments and moving on. But there is a blue orb fragment as well that I'll highlight. Well, I've already got it because I said lost this fucking mission, but I'll show you what I mean when we get to it. But when you're here, you can do it on the way to or the way back, but I always just like to do it on the way back. It didn't mean to whack the mic. I just have an itchy eye. You need to hit this again, and when you hit full, the lights in the middle spin. That's your giveaway that things are how they are, sort of thing. Well, it tells you what room you're going to go through when you go through the door with the same crystals on them. There's 5 links on the door. You got the initial one we started with, we got the one we just left, we got this one, we got one more for the last fragment, and we got one more that leads towards the blue orb fragment instead. These guys are on scripted paths, thankfully, so you can just completely ignore them. And this room has been flipped on it. We're walking across what was the wall. This was one of the paths we took when we was heading towards Neven, or trying to get the ability to unlock the path towards Neven. And there was 2 of the archers in there. And here's another spider storeroom. I tried to sting her towards this, but the enemy spawned in by then, so whatever. I'm also going to be trying to skip enemies just because I don't want to end up having too many red orbs, since, you know, I'm having to do this mission again. I only do the mandatory fights, which will still get us more red orbs, but still. If you're following along and you need red orbs, just repeat any previous mission that you're comfortable with and you can do consistently. It's the only thing I can really suggest. Go. There's no boss in this mission as well. I think this is the biggest gap we have where there isn't any kind of boss fight, because we had last mission and this mission, and the next mission we are returning to boss fights, but I just find it kind of interesting that we had 2 in a row like that don't have boss fights. We didn't get this lucky until it was in Devil May Cry 1, unless it was the gap between the nightmare fights. Because seriously, you end up missing the missions that don't have boss fights in Devil May Cry 1 when you're doing DMD. You really do. This section is really awkward, by the way. If you hold down the jump button the full way, you will hit the roof. If you only tap it, you need to be like 1 frame away from it, like that I just did on that second jump, otherwise you'll hit it. Like, it's very tedious and finicky. You get a grip of it eventually, but it's still finicky. Right, if you've already got the brawl fragment or don't care for it, whack this twice. Whack this through twice. I'm going to do it only once because I want to get the fragment, you know, as Dante locks onto that instead of away. Sorry, it might be a bit evident, but I'm a little frustrated with my playstyle because of having to do this mission again for not recording. But if you go this way, the sign there that just tells you that this way is to leave, not to continue. So it's the game's way of telling you you're going the wrong way. But if you go all the way down here into the Gurren underground arena, you can drop down here and you can see where the tower's just gone straight through the middle. And right over here, there's a random slab that's just sitting still. Not sitting still, it's just on its own here, this slab. And that's where the blue orb fragment was, but because when we've already got it, we've... oh well. So, you got a blue orb fragment, yeah. I know, not very convincing, but still. Oh, for fuck's sake, there's no enemy there. Let me just sting her off it. But you're looking for this oddly floating platform here to take you back up. And once you're at the top, you need to backtrack, go back to that room and clock it again. That blue orb fragment's one of the ones that people tend to miss, just because it's so out of the way. But thankfully it's nothing in this game's as bad as some of the secret missions in 1 and how out of the way they were. Like, how was I supposed to find some of them when I was going through DMC 1 for the Let's Play? Like, really? And then 2, it was just one random spot, tap circle. Oh look, it was a secret mission, or a secret bloody floor, bloody Paris floor. Anyway, let's knock this again. There we go. Right, when you've got all the fragments, you'll all the Orichalcum fragments, you'll know, because when you enter here, the room will seal and you'll have a forced encounter, which never happens. Like, there'll always be enemies here, but it's not a forced encounter until you have all of them. It's just to stop you in your tracks, sort of thing, to make it your mini boss at this level. You can jump cancel and attack the mini spiders. I say mini, they're not mini at all. The average sized spiders, like, relatively easily, I find, but the bigger yellow ones I always struggle with. So I've got nothing to say, it's more spiders. Everything I wanted to say I already said. And I can't remember what I'm already said, because I don't like to redo commentaries like this if I've already done it. I can't remember what I said when I initially recorded this, because I recorded this a little while ago. I had to come back to this. It was actually when I was editing this part, so I actually recorded this like today, the day of upload. So yeah, we had to split between 2 dates, because like the last mission was recorded whenever the fuck I recorded that a while ago. Like back when Final Fantasy like 15 had just finished and I started recording for Devil May Cry. I can't remember when I recorded the first part of this at all. It was a while ago, and I've had to come back and do it. Thankfully though, I haven't recorded anything past this yet. I'm probably going to do that after Christmas. That said, nothing was lost. Ow. There we go. The Devil Sprouts lift. Oh, they're Orichalcum, by the looks of it. Like they're weird. Anyway, they're done. We're done with the Orichalcos. Meanwhile, at the top of the tower. Meanwhile, at the lair of evildoers, at the top of the tower.
He plucks the threads that make us dance finger and toe. We surrender in joy to the lowest of the foul and rank. We submerge through darkness, rancid filth. Hour by hour, we move downward, ever closer to hell, in a slow, steady gait. Now, let the world resonate. Sloth, gluttony, greed, envy, lust, wrath, and pride. A bell of chaos that tolls human desires. After 2,000 long years, the once sealed gate to the demonic world will open. Destruction! Carnage and despair! Let your instincts drive you. Entrap this world in fear, as its very name timidly gloom strikes terror into the heart of mankind. Then I will become the ultimate ruler of this wasteland, engulfed with pandemonium. The demonic power that Sparda once imprisoned will be mine!
Way to go, Arkham. That right there was his best cutscene in my opinion. But that being said, next time on Devil May Cry 3, we'll continue our chase to the top of the tower to try and catch up with Arkham. I mean, not going to get a good rank for this at all because I skipped most of the fights, but that being said, until next time, you guys take care now.